Although C++ provides a string class, you may still need to work with characters and character arrays directly. And if you are going to be programming in C, then you will definitely have to use character arrays. In the CCtype library for C, there are several very useful functions, and we've used some of them already. We used the toUpper when we were doing input validation, and we wanted to allow either uppercase or lowercase. You can also choose to convert to lowercase. Here is a set of them that can be useful, and so you can do some checks about the character and then make some decisions on that. So let's take a look at a small example of that. Here's a program that's going to check if the very first character is printable, because we've set I to 1. So if the F is printable, it will write that F out because we're going into the character array, getting that ith position, which is 0, so getting that F out and writing it to C out and then incrementing. So we're going to step through each character until we find a character that's not printable. Well, this new line character is going to be our first not printable character. It's just a white space character, and so we should get first line when we run the program. And there you see our output is first line, and you see where the cursor is blinking. It did print that space after the word line, and when it got to the new line character, the character that's supposed to move it to the next line, it's not something that gets printed out, it's something that changes the position. And so that's not a printable character, and so it stops right there. Here's another example where it's looking for the punctuation in a character array. So here we have a character array, and we have a comma, a question mark, and an exclamation point. And we're going to loop through here. We're doing a while for the string character. Well, the string character is going to convert to true as long as it has some value in it. So here we have hello, how are you, fine. And remember on our character strings in C that it's going to put a null character at the end. So let's step through and look for that null character. I'm going to add a watch on string 2. And if I expand it out, you can see that the very last character is a 0. That's the null character. That's the only character that's going to evaluate to false because 0 evaluates to false. So it's going to step through all of the characters, and when it gets to the 0, it will stop. Then inside my loop, I check if it's punctuation. Only those values that are punctuation marks will return true, and so then we'll only be printing out the ones that are true. And then we're going to increment I and keep stepping through. Now, my feelings are that you should put the curly braces here because it makes your code easier to read, but C++ and C do not require it. So let's go ahead and run this. First line showed up because we're still running that part of the program. And if we start stepping, you can see it hops over if it's not punctuation. The first one is a H, so it's not going to write out the H. Then it increments the index and moves us to the E. And we'll continue through until we finally find some punctuation, and we can put a breakpoint right there to find the punctuation. And hit continue, and it will stop at that breakpoint. And you can see we found our first punctuation mark, and that's the comma. And that is where I is, let's see, what value is I? When I is 5. So here we start at 0, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. The fifth character is the comma, so it did evaluate as punctuation, and it went ahead and wrote that out. And so if we remove that breakpoint and continue on, we should see our comma, question mark, and exclamation mark as our punctuation.